Hello, 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 my dear darling loves, and welcome back to another ride on the Peloton. I'm so excited to have you here with me and to be here with you. This is definitely a ride that I have long awaited for. Honestly, just feeling of getting a good sweat in and knowing that I'm not pushing my body to its limit or even close to its limit, but that I'm still working very hard in achieving a goal just by getting on the saddle. Yeah, it's such a good feeling. And I hope that in all of the exercises that you're doing, that you feel similarly, whether you're going outside for a walk, exercise with your HIIT instructor or your Zumba instructor, or hitting those full body workouts, whether you're doing stretch or yoga, whatever it is that is coming to you, if you're going for runs on your Peloton or rowing, whatever it is, I hope that it is feeding you and that it is fueling you and giving your flame, your internal flame, a little bit of something to look forward to. I know that for me, getting on this Peloton every time that I do, it is truly a gift and one that I hope everyone can experience. So for today's ride, I am looking for something that's going to keep that blood pumping, that's going to challenge me, but that is ultimately not going to put me on my butt, because I've still got to be fully functional, highly operational, and get this thing done in time to continue my work, in time to go and pick up my daughter, in time to move on to the next step. And for me, a huge part of that is choosing the right workout. So I picked something that I feel is a little bit upbeat, something that's going to keep me pushing and feeling good. And I hope that you are able to find the tunes that keep you happy. I am just going to play a little bit of something in the background, as I always do for you. So I hope that you enjoy your workout, but here we go. So in this exercise, we are going to push ourselves just a little bit extra. We're going to get deep into the cardio, and we're going to go for about 25 minutes. And at the end of this low impact ride, we will have burned up at least 200 calories. So yay for us. And the other thing that we can look forward to here with this exercise is a moment of meditation, motivation, and inspiration. And it starts right now. So for today, I want to talk to you all about the experience of being a first-time mother after my 30s. A lot of you all are coming to my channel from various age ranges. I am amazed at the spread of people who are in this group, and the number of women between the ages of 24 and the age of 44 is just incredible. What a spread, and what a delight to be able to speak to so many different experiences with this motivational message. So I just want to talk about how it's not too late to get going. Now, I was right on the cusp of being a geriatric pregnancy at the age of 33, and geriatric pregnancy gets identified at around 35. I started out my pregnancy at 32 years old, and so I was, right in that orange zone, medically speaking. They were concerned that there could be other elements of my pregnancy that could be pushing the envelope, and so they kept a nice close eye on me. And I made it my business to be as healthy as I could be and to push myself only as much as need be, without pushing myself beyond what felt like it was going to be sustainable for me. And what I mean by that is I didn't really exercise in particular while I was pregnant. It was really important to me that as a vegan, I maintained a reasonable nutrition. And something that you all might not know about me is that I didn't have my own home while I was pregnant. I noticed some behaviors in my partner that I was truly concerned about, and I ended up departing from my apartment. Even though we had broken up, it was still really important to me to move, to be in a different location. And then I ended up spending the vast majority of my pregnancy sleeping either on the floor, a mattress, or a couch, and rarely a bed. And the thing is that in that experience, it kind of compounded the other challenges of pregnancy. But I must say, I was extremely fortunate that getting into this space of pregnancy was a healthful experience for me. I had no complications of my pregnancy, but I can't complain. What I can say is that it actually emboldened me to reconsider what it would mean for me to be pregnant with the right circumstances, what it would mean for me to be pregnant with the supportive systems and spaces and people all together. I had some of the people, I had some of the resources, the most important being a doctor that was already under my coverage for my healthcare. And so it was a challenge. It was a struggle. I didn't have a partner to lean on. But at the same time, I realized that if I could do this at my age with my available resources, there was very little that I couldn't do. And that was before I had my daughter. Fast forward to the point of delivery, and I recognized that just like the hills that we ride on in these, low impact rides throughout the week, I was going to hit some real snags, some real challenges that pushed and made my legs feel heavy, that made me want to jump up out the saddle. But I was able to be steadfast, and honestly, that was not because of some special mentality of mine. It was because of my willingness to enter into an unknown space, an uncertain space, an untested space, and do so from a place of curiosity, openness, and willingness, not only for my daughter, but for what was possible for me to learn as an individual. In postpartum, we find ourselves often spinning our wheels. We find ourselves pushing, getting that cadence up, getting our heart rates up, doing everything that we can to push beyond what's expected of us because we want to snap back, right? We want to get into who we were, and we have this regressive mindset. But the earliest thing that I learned when I finally moved into this apartment with my daughter, when I learned how to nurse her 7 months past her birth date, I knew in my core, I knew in my gut that we were going to face some challenges that I simply wasn't going to know how we could get through them, how we were going to push past them. And the purpose of that pain experience, that pressure, that pause, that pushed me past what I was thinking I was capable of psychologically, was that it allowed my body to catch up to where it was and to take its time to progress rather than regress. It allowed my psyche to progress rather than regress. I was gaining strides, but without overworking myself. I was gaining strides, but without pushing myself to a place that was not only uncomfortable, but destructive. I was literally constructing my life piece by piece, unit by unit, selecting what was going to come, what was going to stay, what was going to go. And at each moment that I felt pushed back, that I felt pushed down, where I felt like my smile might leave, I was pushing just enough that a different emotion could wave over me, that a different part of the best bit of what it means to be postpartum could emerge. And I know that sounds all airy-fairy, mamby-pamby, and woo-woo, but click in to that feeling that you get when you push yourself to that place of cardio, when you're just above steady state, when you're just below that hardest working part of you. And it's not that you could do it forever without feeling it. It's that you can lock into that feeling and stay there and be and move forward in a way that challenges you to create something new that prevents you from looking back. The beauty of being an elder first-time mother was that I had no idea in my head that I would ever go back to how I looked before I was pregnant. At 33 years old, there's a sense that youthfulness are what I should be striving for, but I know that I'm not built to go backwards. And I came into that space of pregnancy and postpartum with the confidence of somebody who was happy with who she already was and who was actively excited to become something new. And so when I hop on this Peloton, when you hop onto your Peloton, when you get onto the road and you push that carriage, or you get into the grocery store and you start picking up those groceries, or you just bend over to pick up your little one. When you do those things, you are rebuilding yourself in those moments, in those micro moments. And they add up and they add up and they stack up and they stack up and they stack wide. They get a nice wide berth. They are sturdy. They are strong, and they strengthen you. And they bring out a smile that radiates from inside, even when your lips cannot curl from fatigue. It permeates your pores like sweat, and it builds you up, and it pushes you forward, and it makes you want to reach out to the next person that you know and tell them how much love you feel in your heart. It makes you want to reach out to the next person that you run past who looks like they're ready to connect and say, I see you. How you doing? And I know that sounds so hokey, but it's weirdly true for me. Finding this space of easeful, intentional challenge in an otherwise unreasonably challenging experience. It did not just create in me a self-centered, me first attitude of I can do this. It made me look at myself. It made me look at my daughter. It made me look at my sister, my mother, my brother, my father, all the young women in my family who had children this year, all the women in my family who had children this year, all the children who've been brought into our family across the last decade, and recognize that I could be someone different, someone I haven't met yet. I could create some version of myself that could keep up with a cadence that I've never reached before, that could generate the power necessary for me to climb hills that were too steep for me to even imagine. I learned what I was truly capable of by having my child after turning 30. And I knew in my bones that I would not break. But more than just knowing that I wouldn't break, I knew that I was going to build. I knew that the people around me who were doing this with me were doing it from a place of maturity that I probably couldn't have imagined. No, I know I couldn't have imagined in an earlier phase of my life. And that is not to knock having children young. Not at all. Because neurosynapses are built and pathways are forged, and you become a different person no matter what age you are. but I had a kickstart, I had a booster, I had a benefit, a privilege that I lean on today. And that I encourage you, if you're thinking about it and it's not for you yet, but you have that feeling in your heart, that desire in your heart, hold on to it, hold fast to it, and pedal like you know you are going somewhere you want to be. Run like you are going somewhere that you want to be. Take those steps like you are going somewhere that you want to be. Because we all want to see you get there. And it does not matter if you get there 10 years ago, today, or in 10 years in the future. The only thing that's ever going to matter is that as you are making those decisions, that you do everything in your power to affirm yourself. That you do everything in your power to see yourself, to give yourself a forward-facing view of where you are going, not looking back, not turning back, but going forward. I have a Bible verse that I love very much. It's Philippians 3, and I have been just leaning on this Bible verse. And it says, "Brothers and sisters, I do not count myself to have taken hold of it, but this one thing I do. Forgetting the things that are behind me and reaching forward to the things that are before me, I press toward the mark of the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus." And that verse does not need to mean anything that it doesn't feel good to you. To me, what it means is there is a target that I have set for myself that is in alignment with the true essence of who I am, my pneuma, my innermost being, the version of me that was in the kernel of my little zygotic self before all the things came together and made me into an embryo that turned me into a baby. Whatever stuff it was in that kernel, that's the truest essence of who I am, and it's still with me right now. And that verse tells me that the target I set for myself with the essence of who I am is the target that I should push myself toward, the target that I should aim toward, the target that I should not let rest until I hit it, even if that means stepping away and stepping back, but I never lose sight. And I never look back and go, I wish I had. I love being a mother. I love that I get to spend my days and nights with the best person I've ever met in this world, and I can't believe that she came from me. But I wouldn't be the person that I need to be for her a day sooner than she came. I wouldn't have been ready for so many things. And I might not have found the place that I needed to be to push myself. But I know that no matter what could have been, this is what is. That I have every cooperative component in my life surrounding me. That you have every component in your life surrounding you, cooperating to co-create a sphere, a world, a universe, with all of your heart's desires at the center, at the core, begging you to let it into your life. And if you are postpartum, my dearest darling friend, that is your greatest asset, your most sumptuous gift. Because you are in a space of limitless creativity. You are in a space of limitless possibility. even as you are healing your body, there is a whole element of human development that we don't talk about because it doesn't happen to men. But we should, because if you are a postpartum person, you're having an experience. You are having an experience that, much like in the song from Wicked says, you have been changed for good. Postpartum does things to our bodies, to our minds, and to our spirits that we can barely put into words. That gets truncated into 6 weeks of our lives by society. But it's not measured by some small meter, some small understanding of who we are and how we fit into this hyper-masculinized world. There is a fullness of experience and human development that we are going through that matters. And whether we brought that child into our lives or into this world, it happens to different degrees and in different ways, but it absolutely happens. And if you let it affect your psyche, if you let it sink in, then even those who do not carry the child inside of their bodies are able to touch this experience in a really deep and beautiful way. Because postpartum is not about healing and reversion. Postpartum is about a recognition, a commitment, a returning to oneself, and a promise to become more of who we've always been. To know that one completely and in whole. To embrace that wholeness of who you are and know that you are reintroducing yourself, sure, to this world as a new parent, but even to yourself as an individual whose depths have limitless potential. So no matter when and no matter how, if you find yourself gifted with the opportunity to embrace a new life, let it lead you, let it call you to something new, let it pull you forward, let it give you the opportunity to set yourself a target that you can aim for the rest of your life. And may it feed, nourish, and strengthen yourself, your families, your partnerships, and every aspect of your life as you see fit. Please remember to take a good deep stretch, and I will see you real soon in the next one. But for now, I love you and bye.